All right. The Oluwo of Iwo, the Abdulrosheed Akanbi, has sternly frowned at former President Olusegun Obasanjo for his controversial stand-up order directed at traditional monarchs in Oyo State. The incident, which occurred on Friday during the inauguration of the project in Iseyin, Oyo State, has generated several reactions.
In a short video circulated on the internet, the former president expressed his displeasure at the seated monarchs and their failure to rise and greet Governor Seyi Makinde, citing it as a sign of disrespect for the governor's office. Reacting to the incident, the Oluwo of Iwo issued a scathing statement condemning Mr. Obasanjo's actions as an insult and a deliberate desecration of the revered Yoruba traditional institutions. Also, the Yoruba Council Worldwide has issued a statement condemning the actions of the former president, which it described as a taboo and a monumental embarrassment. We're now joined this morning by the President, Yoruba Council Worldwide, Are Oba Oladotun Hassan. You're welcome to the show. Good morning, sir. Thank you very much for joining us. All right. I would like you to give us an idea, before we get into the details of what exactly happened, in terms of the positions of the monarchs. How important is this in Yoruba tradition? We saw the videos and his reactions, and of course there have been several other reactions from other people, but give us a clear picture in Yoruba land. How important is the role of the monarchs?
Well, it's very important to acknowledge the fact that custom, tradition, ethics, and norms are part of every race in the world. And Yoruba is not an exception. We have this highly referred custom, which is described as Omoluabi culture and tenet. That is our principle and modus operandi of dealing with ourselves. Most importantly, our royal fathers are giving that Igbakiji, that is the second in command to God on earth. That is in Yoruba land, we give them that role. Anyone in the position of kingship too, no matter how young or old he gets into that stool, we refer that office, that stool, with high level respect, and irrespective of your class in the society, be you senator, governor, you must just come down. If you are visiting a king, no matter how you are, you must prostrate. That is our culture. You must give that office, that person, a due respect. So that is just a modus of value of our culture. And it has been internal, it has been passed from generation to generation. And what we raise, our opinion that we just raised in respect of Olusegun Obasanjo's demeanor is a disrespect. No matter how it's garnished, no matter how it's being position, is a total disrespect to even shout at the kings. It's not one, it's not two. We are talking about a race of kings in Iseyin. So that to us is highly unacceptable, is ridiculous and disrespectful, and highly degrading of the Yoruba culture and tenet.
Well, let's understand this, because if you break down the context of what he said, it seems like he was asking that if the governor walks into, a place where they are gathered, they should at least respect him, by standing up to greet. It wasn't about he himself, Chief Olusegun Obasanjo. He was also referring to Governor Seyi Makinde and saying that traditional rulers, should give him that respect as the governor of the state. Because if you look at, hierarchy, political hierarchy and traditional hierarchy, the governor, according to former President Obasanjo, is, the #1 person in the state. Do you think that maybe, his actions or his words are being misunderstood or misconstrued to make it seem like he was disrespecting these monarchs? Because they weren't in their palace now. It's not like they were in their palace and he came and asked them to stand up. This was a public gathering.
Let me make some transit correction here. From the eyewitness report of how things went down at the venue in Iseyin during the inauguration of the tertiary institution there, at the arrival of Mr. Governor, even while Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, when they made the announcement, there was a welcome stand-up ovation in which they respected the governor. And one would not have expected, after Chief Olusegun Obasanjo was given that respect, at least in a most mutual, respectable manner to welcome and give the encomium, there was nothing that warranted that scenario, except there is an hidden hatred or hidden misconception or hidden trait that is unknown to the whole world. So, which is only left to Mr. Obasanjo to explain to us that this is the things that led to my vituperation, my anger, because it is not just the statement that was made, it's the modus operandi and the anger, the immediate spontaneous ordering of those kings. Stand up. Nobody ever ridicule a king in that manner. No matter what you are putting inside your thinking faculty, you don't come to the open and mesmerize yourself, because the total embarrassment to himself, to the family of Obasanjo, and to us. And that is why we gave him to yesterday, which is 3 days, for him to address a World Press Conference and feel remorse and apologize, not just to the king, but to the entire Yoruba race. So we believe as Nigerians, these are coordinated, we just see this as a premeditated action. Maybe he had a project that he was, Obasanjo, to me and to many, is a man that never forgives easily. Is a man that operates this vendetta view that he knows it all. And we cannot continue this kind of absolutism in our context in Africa. These have always been one of the issues we've been having. While he was a president, he never modeled a democratic tenet that is profitably imitable for all of us. He proclaimed the third-term ambition of having an eternal presidency of almost 31 years, because he's to have 7 years of 3 terms. So this is a man that never had this value for the family life. We are all aware of his relationship with the daughter, Yabo Obasanjo. We are all aware what transpired with the wife of the son. We're all aware.
Kindly hold on.
So we are not putting all this.
Kindly hold on, because now we're going mudslinging almost, in a total different direction.
The
simple question we're asking here is...
We are trying to relate to information that are in the public domain before now, while he was the president.
I totally agree.
Had the opportunity.
I get that, but anyway, was there laughing or you? I mean, listen, in the past, we've seen Chief Olusegun Obasanjo bow to kings. When the Oluwo of Iwo was inaugurated, everyone still remembers that Olusegun Obasanjo, when he walked into his palace, he knelt down and paid respect to the Oluwo of Iwo. So it's not like we have a precedence, of the former president not respecting traditional rulers or not respecting traditional, leadership. And so, to paint this one as, it's just the way that he is, maybe arrogant and all of that, it's, may not really fly.
No. We're not being sentimental here.
Yeah,
from the context of his statement, he said, even when I'm in the office, these Obas, when they come in, when they are in my own bedroom, they bow to me. It's not just about him proclaiming to, he had already bowed down before Oluwo, before Alafin, before Oni of Ife. We have all seen that as a model of an elderly man giving that stool, that honor. But he not acknowledging in the open that even if this Oba visited him in his own private home, they bow before him with their crown. That is a total charade. And, we cannot see that. It is a prima facie that the fact speaks for itself.
All right.
Rep Easter Locutor, we cannot amend an eggshell rule situation. This is a total eggshell rule that you just have to carry the entire egg that is already smashed on the ground. So there's nothing irredeemable that Obasanjo can use to
all right, so you've given former President Olusegun Obasanjo an ultimatum to come and apologize. Afenifere says they will deliberate on this subject matter at their next meeting, which is on the 27th of September. How do you foresee all of this turning out? Do you think that the president will apologize? And where he doesn't apologize, what happens next?
Yes, we have
former
declared,
president, I beg your pardon,
yes, we have declared that from today, since he refused to apologize in person because he committed the act, for him to look down on us and not to respect the culture and tradition, we have made our declaration to the to his tool as the Balogun of Owu Kingdom, we in Abeokuta, which is his first major title. We've declared within our own camp that we will cease to recognize any of his chieftaincy title in Yoruba land. And since he has already given us and intentionally withhold his apology, as from today, we, the Yoruba Council Worldwide, have ceased, and I'm repeating, we have ceased to recognize him, and we have declared that we cease to recognize him of any chieftaincy title in Yoruba land. That it is now left for the king that gave him all the title not to reciprocate by giving a stamp to those chieftaincy titles, because for you to be awarded a chieftaincy title, it will be an embarrassment to the king that gives you such an honor. And if the kings do not, on their own volition, take hint of what we have already given, we on our own, we have also within our capacity, because we have seen this as a total disregard, as a total malicious statement, and it is to discredit before the right-thinking member of the public, and that is why we are going to be taking a defamation action at the Court of Competent Jurisdiction. Proper suit will be filed within the next few days, and we are going to match our word with action. But for the entire Yoruba race,
I'm glad that you've mentioned. I'm glad that you've mentioned that. I did see conversations about how there will be actions taken against the former president, and he'll be sued for defamation. And I want to ask exactly how will this amount to defamation of character? Maybe you can give us a broader context.
Well, when you disrepute a man before a right-thinking member of the society, Obasanjo, in a most ridiculous manner, informed as if the kings are ill-mannered. He portrayed the kings as ill-mannered, as non-recognizing a statutory authority, which I've never seen any king disobey any law of the land. So for him to go to that extent is to portray them in a most ridiculous manner to us. Before the right-thinking member of the society, the kings are being mesmerized, are being embarrassed. And this embarrassment is defamation. So he has already ridiculed their position and their authority. We have Oluwo of Iwo there. We have senior Obas that are of high-level class, global respect.
Can I just quickly add? There's a bit of misunderstanding as to how exactly this might be defamation. But if you say that this is a case of defamation, one of the defenses to defamation is truth. If there are people who would argue that in terms of hierarchy, whilst yes, there are the laws that talk about the sanctity of the monarchs, but also some would argue that it is the government that sponsors these monarchs. It is the government that funds these monarchs. So depending on where they meet, it is largely dependent on who would have authority in that region. So when he goes to their palace, they have authority there. But this is sort of a government function, and the government does fund them. What would be your response to people who have that push that as an argument?
Well, as a highly referred person in traditional respect, I'm the Areobaje Obatala Agbaye in Ile-Ife. And I know what custom and tradition means if I'm coming out to Areobaje Obatala Agbaye in Ile-Ife. And I know what custom and tradition means if I'm coming out to make these assertions. I'm not make this assertion on the premise of sentiment. The kings have their ancestral right to their stool. The duty of a governor of a government is to ensure the proper attention, proper salary model, proper welfare of those kings as part of the state that they are governing. And the duty, it is not the governor that installs the king, it's the immediate community through models of tradition of that community. Every community have their own laid down tenets of norms and traditions. When they go through that norm and the selection process as the heir apparent to the throne, there are princes who are heir apparent to the throne. After their contestation, whoever is given the preserved honor to ascend the throne should be given that respect. Even the king, even at least we have seen the governor of Ekiti State frustrating in a open, not just in a closet. That shows that in Yoruba land, you might not see that in every other tradition, but in Yoruba land, these are one of the values that keep us together. This is one of the most most respectable symbolism that if anything happened to that institution, if you continue to see that and ridicule that institution, generation yet unborn and the present generation will see another in the open and begin to stretch hand and begin to disrespect, begin to do things that are inimical. Wow. So, and that is why we are also cautioning our kings to equally maintain their unity.
I want you. This is what Olive had asked, and I apologize. We need to go. If they go to Aso Rock and meet the president, is the president meant to come out of his office and also bow to them in Aso Rock? Because the context we're placing here is this didn't happen in either of their palaces. This was at a government function. And the governor of the state...
This was in their own domain in Iseyin at a public function. It is not within the government house. But
the governor is the #1 citizen of the state. Am I right?
Yes. Yes, definitely.
Great.
The governor did not make that assertion that they disrespect. And they never disrespected the governor. No Oba in Oyo State has ever disrespected the governor. They are calling
it's not disrespect. It may not be intentional. Anyway.
Even Mr. President, even the current president, you saw him when he visited the two Obas in Oyo State after his emergency, even when he was running for campaigning, that we accorded them that true respect.
But once again, this was in their palaces, not in the government.
We must also reiterate here that it's important that culture and tradition be respected, and we're firmly in support of culture and tradition being upheld. And I am certain that former President Olusegun Obasanjo is also a man of culture. I do hope that we can find a way out of this so it doesn't become some form of a national issue or some form of a huge misunderstanding between the monarchs and the former president. Thank you so much, Are Oba Oladotun Hassan. Thank you so much for your time with us. We look forward to having you again, and hopefully this time around there would have been some form of good news in this regard. All right. Thank you for joining us. In case you're wondering what exactly the course of this conversation is and haven't gotten to see the video, we're going to show you the video where former President Olusegun Obasanjo did have the conversation with the monarchs that has sparked a debate across social media. I would like to get your own remarks as well. Let us know what your thoughts are. So after you watch it, we would of course expect your reactions via our social media platforms at News Central TV. Let's take a look.
Loba loba. Orí adé mo kí yín kú jókòó ẹ ṣé tẹ́ wà ńbí ṣùgbọ́n ẹ jẹ́ kí n sọ nǹkan kan ibi tí gómìnà bá wà tàbí president bá wà kò sí ọba náà ó ní láti dìde fún gómìnà tàbí fún president ẹ dìde ẹ jókòó. ẹjọ́ nílẹ̀ káàárọ̀ oòjíire nǹkan méjì là ń bọ̀wọ̀ fún among others age ọjọ́ orí àti ipò. Gómìnà ní ipò tójú tí ẹ ní ọba lọ nígbà tó bá ṣe gómìnà tó bá ṣe gómìnà mọ́ even nígbà tí mo ṣe president mo ń dọ̀bálẹ̀ fọba ṣùgbọ́n tí n bá wọ yàrá ọba ó dọ̀bálẹ̀ fún mi. So ẹ jẹ́ kí a gbé àṣà wa ká gbé lárugẹ.
So that's the video, of course, that caused the controversy. Like we mentioned before we played the video, let us know what your thoughts are about the video. Do you think former President Olusegun Obasanjo was wrongful in his approach, or do you think there was nothing wrong with how he spoke? Let us know at News Central TV across all social media platforms.